In Diamond Plus, this comp is the most picked comp at the moment. It is the duo between Fiora and Karma, and I'm just going to showcase you how you can play the comp and also a blueprint kind of step by step on how you can play the comp and what you should look for before you're finding this comp and the build up and items and what you should slam of items and all of these things in between. So let's just look at what we look at in the end. What we are looking for is a blue buff and some sort of burn effect. That could be Murillo or red buff. I actually prefer red buff over Murillo, but it takes two bows to build red buff, so we are not sure that we always get that. So just think blue buff plus a burn effect for Karma. In the best situation, what we are getting is an emblem for witchcraft, since it gives us 4 in witchcraft. So this is the best situation on Karma. When it comes to Fiora, we want some sort of healing. That is Bloodthirster in the best situation. Steric, and then we want something like Titans. It could also be another Steric, and it could also be an Edge of Night. If we have any other items, we want to build items for Nasus, and that will just be pure tank items. It doesn't really matter what it is. I would recommend that you are building some sort of magic resist, since most of the best comps right now, especially Syndra, is doing magic damage. So definitely using Dragon's Claw over something like Bramblevest. Maybe an even better option would be something like this. When you have items on these 3 units, what you can do is building attack speed items or some sort of tank / AP frontline on Morgana. And that could be anything from Crown Guard to Bloodthirster or Titans or similar. It doesn't really matter what you're putting on her, just make her be alive for longer. Karma and Fiora will do the job. In general, this is just one of the best comp there is. This is the comp that I have been spamming for the last 30 games, and it is quite fun, and it's also quite easy when you know how to play the early game. As you can see here, I am having a 70% top 4 range. I'm not really winning that much, but I do get top 4 in most of my games, and that basically just means that I'm gaining LP almost every game. I know that I'm not a rank 1 or anything like that. I usually get to master, and I haven't really played that much yet. So right now I'm just in top 3%. If you're below that, you can definitely use some of these tips, but I do always recommend that you are trying things out yourself and see what makes sense for you and also what you enjoy to play. So this is basically the board that we're looking for at level 9. At level 8, we are just taking this out, and this will basically just be our board. But the hard part is not playing the late game, because when you get to this point, you are almost guaranteed a top 4. So the hard part is how to get there. Oh, and one last thing, when it comes to augments or portals, what we are prioritizing is emblem first. Then we want gold to get to level 8 as fast as possible, since it is a fast level 8 comp. And then we prioritize items last. And that is simply just because we do need a lot of items. But let's look at how we are getting to this board. So at level 3, 4, 5, and 6, we are playing some specific units to get the most out of it. What we are looking for is Zoe, Poppy, Lilia, and Jace. Zoe is the perfect item holder for Karma. So if we have the chance to build items for Zoe, we will do that as early as possible. We do also play Elise to get 2 in Shapeshifter, which makes the frontline even stronger and gives us more time for Zoe. And from here, what we want to do is to add in another unit, which will be a portal unit. And in the best case, we can get Kassadin, since he is a really good item holder for Fiora. So if we have the chance to build items for Fiora, we will do that and put it on Kassadin. So these 6 units is the units that you want to pick up and play around as soon as you can if you want to play this board. Use any of these units in any combination you can figure out at level 3, 4, 5, and 6. I would say, if you can, Portal is probably the best and most given one in the early game, but else these 3 others is quite similar. I would always play Zoe if I could. So these are the 3 units for Portal, and then I would probably add in Poppy, so we're getting 2 in Witchcraft. But again, if you're having a 2-star on one of the others, you might want to play them instead. But think that Lilia is only providing something extra for Poppy, since they are both bastions. So that means you actually have to prioritize Poppy and Elise over Lilia, and then you can add in Lilia to giving us the trade. When it comes to your economy, I would recommend that you are trying to get to 50 gold as fast as possible. Are you seeing yourself as quite strong? You could easily use the classic leveling, and that means going for level 4 at 2-1, going for level 5 at 2-5, and then go for level 6 at 3-2. We don't really want to reroll, so we're just going to use all the gold to go up in levels as soon as we get to 50 gold. See if you can get to level 7 at stage 3-5 with 50 gold. This is the best situation, but you could also just go level 7 at stage 3-5 to make sure that you are having a good amount of health. But else, just by default, save the gold and use all gold above 50 to level up, and see if you are able to get to level 8 at stage 4-2 just after the third augment and still have enough gold to do a bit of rolling. When you get to level 7, just before you are going for level 8, you're just going to put in whatever units that fits the board. Usually I just use a 4-cost units that are usable in the end of the game. So that will be something like Nasus, Rakan, Fiora, or Karma. When you get to level 8 and want to do the roll down, let's say that you are hitting a 1-star Fiora and a 1-star Rakan. It is not necessarily better to put that in instead of a Kassadin to 2-star and a Lilia to 2-star, since it might make our board weaker. So if you have the health and the gold for it, I would recommend to keep the units on the bench before you're hitting them to 2-star and then add them in later. Karma is the only one that I do recommend to put in as a 1-star, since it is really good no matter what. But keep in mind that you want to have 2 in Witchcraft all the time, so you cannot sell Poppy and Zoe at the same time. Are we in the situation where we are getting an Imblem, we will instantly put it on Karma, move the items over for Karma as well, and keep the 4 Witchcraft. And that means if we're not having Fiora already, we need to play these 3 guys plus something else. And the easiest thing to do in the mid game is, if you're finding Nico, you will add in Nico instead of Elise, since the only thing Elise is bringing to the table is Shapeshifter, and we can get that from Nico as well. So let's say our board looks like this now, and we do have these 2 guys on the bench. Then we just want to roll at level 8 and see if we can hit one of these 3 guys to 2-star, and as soon as we do that, we will add them in. Are we in a situation where we're getting Nasus to 2-star and Karma to 2-star? We do have Fiora at 1-star, then we could start adding these guys in. So let's say we're just having a random board like this. We probably also have some sort of tank items on Nasus, but this will be our board more or less. So what we're looking for now is to get Rakan and Fiora to 2-star, and if we are very strong and good health and good economy, we could just push to level 9. If we're in a situation where we feel like we have to stabilize very soon, we are going for either of these 2 to 2-star. Especially Fiora would give us a big boost. But we can actually just go all the way to level 9 just by having a tanky Nasus and a 2-star Karma with items. Obviously at this point we should also have a 3rd item for Karma, which will either be the Morello we talked about before or the red buff. Other items that we're looking for now is obviously to get Fiora a 3rd item, but also getting Nasus even tankier and saving us some time throughout the game. So if you do the roll down, we do want to have Fiora to 2-star, and we do also want to put in Morgana instead of Poppy. And what we else gonna look for is to get Cillian and Bart instead of these 2 guys. So this situation would be perfect to get us to level 9. And when we get to level 9, we're gonna add in the last unit. And from here, just put in the items as we talked about before. Getting Fiora's last item, getting Nasus even more tanky, and then putting attack speed items in the backline or even more frontline items in the frontline. If you could use this guide, make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel, and then I will make more guides on the best comps in the current meta, so you can get yourself some free LP. But else, thanks for watching and good luck on the climbing.